Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. This is Naaman with the Great Millstone Camp here in DC. Back for another video. But first and foremost, call hello Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rekah Hawadash, and of course, double honors go out to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. I'd like to also send out salutations to the fellow Akim that are out there on the highways and byways. Alright, week in and week out. Not to mention the many videos that are uploaded that go out over the airwaves to further edify primarily the hopefully elect of our people. All right, because time is very, very short. All right, here is the copyright disclaimer under section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as comment, criticism, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Once again, fair use, fair use, fair use. And for this video, we're going to go into something that I was highly suspicious of when this all started to come about, because I was always under the impression that the ultimate aim in all of this was getting rid of Southern Kingdom Jakes. Whether you want to call them, I hate these terms, but FBAs or ADOS. Because think of it, that's been the one thing you can't deport Jake. So because of all the, and I mean it's so much. Let me see if I did this a couple of months ago, see if I can remember. How am I going to phrase this? My keyboard is malfunctioning. Legislation concerning let's see. And I mean, it was, what the hell is this? I didn't, what the hell is, oh no. Sorry about that. Must have hit the wrong, okay, anyway. Let's see, my shift key doesn't work and my backspace. Let's see. Let me do it this way. All right, okay, let's see. Good thing it's a touchscreen. Legislation regarding all right, let's see. What? How convenient. Oh, that's bullshit. Maybe, let's see. Hold on, let's see. Maybe this is it. Alright, let's try again. That's way more than the hell. Alright, let's see. This is crazy. Wow. Let's see if I can find something else like it. Guides. Let's see. Alright, let's see. 1789, 1865. Just all the things, and it is a lot. Alright, where that huge headache they've got. Alright, and we have certainly, let's see, the law of slavery in 1841, law of salvage, blah 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 blah. There are no ships, that's not what I want. They want to do away with the whole, we as a people are a reminder of the greatest fuck up, I'll put it like that. Something they wish they didn't have to, wish it wouldn't come up. That was what was behind all the crazy shit he did when he came back in office last year with the CRT and all this shit. Let's see, slave codes, it's not what I want. And let's see, that's part of it, but let's see. Why slavery is still legal? But that's not what I wanted to get into. In fact, let's see. Shit. Fugitive slave. Damn it. Let's see. That's not what I want. And I can just about guarantee you that the one that it would not let me enter is the one I actually want. What do you want to bet? Let's see. Three-fifths, no, that's just a little bit of it. I saw something as I was getting this. Let me try. Let's see, let's try this. All right. Yeah, it's a whole lot. I think they just broke it up, but the page I saw, they had it all listed together, and it was like, gee, wow. 1854, James Smith trial, Crimes Act. See, it's a whole lot of stuff. And what they've done while I'm doing this, showing you this, is they really, what it comes down to is back themselves into a corner. And with all these laws and on the books, you know, it's really hard for them to do what they want to do, and that's get rid of it. So this is what's going on now, is a way for them to dismantle all this at its core. And if they can do away with the making us part of the American framework, so to speak, I can't think of anything else as far as citizenship. If they do away with that, because well, he's going to say it in the video, but I'm just going to say it now. The guy they headed the border patrol, when he got into that incident that happened up there in Minnesota, and he was essentially relocated. This guy, Bovino, I think is his last name. He supposedly is running for president. And he said he wants to deport 100 and I think 6 million illegals. Duh, do the math. How many Northern Kingdom and how many Southern Kingdom? Where is he getting that 106 million? And there you have it. So all of this, I'll just put this, I'll link to this later on after the video, and you can look at all this up for yourself, because it's too much for me to go into right now. But let's go ahead and roll the video.
Right before this one, and the title on the screen says, "We did this." And if you're watching on another app, please go watch that video. I started off talking about how it is oftentimes uncomfortable for me to talk about issues of race in the United States of America because of how I grew up. I grew up in very segregated circumstances, not intentionally. My parents just lived where they lived, and I was very, I just grew up around a fuck ton of white people, man, in rural Ohio. And
Ohio.
woefully undereducated on issues of race in this country. And I spoke in that video about it. That's one of the things that I treasure the most about TikTok. And the fact that I'm able to find creators that don't look like me and learn from them.
Ohio and Indiana.
For me, but I learn a lot, and I pay attention, and I shut up, and I listen. And I spoke about white privilege in that video, and I spoke about my white privilege and male privilege in that video, and several other privileges as well. But I think that it seems to me that racism against black people has come roaring back in a way over the last year and a half in this country, with the full weight of the President of the United States, using the full power of the executive branch for that purpose. And one of my mutuals on this app, he made a video yesterday, and he's like, I want you guys to understand that as Black Americans, we feel completely surrounded right now, and that really resonated with me. Obviously, I'm never gonna know what it's like to be a black person in the United States of America. It's
like
an intellectual exercise for me, and an exercise in empathy for me. But again, it's like at the end of the day, I will always be a white man in the United States. And in this country, I think those two categories come really before anything else. And I benefit from that on a daily basis, literally on a daily basis. Even though those are two things that I did not work for, I did not earn, I did not study for, I did not work for these things. But in the light of just what's happened in this year with the just overt racism from this administration and from this Supreme Court in eradicating the Voting Rights Act, and several of these trial verdicts that we've seen recently out of South Carolina and Texas. And, we are learning in practical terms, not for the first time, but in pretty graphic terms, who in this country actually has available to them concepts like the Second Amendment, self-defense, open carry. Who do stand your ground laws really apply to in this country? But this presidential administration, this president, this Secretary of Defense, the Department of Homeland Security, have made explicit racism against black people in the United States into official government policy. across any. I mean, I think this country has let in the last year, something like 6,400 refugees. All but 3 of those people were white South Africans. And so our immigration policy is specifically now the official policy of the United States to let in refugees from other countries if they are white, and to not let refugees in from other countries if they are not white. And, you know, again, official policy of this administration and this government. We're seeing it play out now in real time with the World Cup. Who's getting visas and whose visas are getting denied, despite the fact that people have already bought tickets and paid for travel arrangements and flights and hotels, and all of these things are non-refundable. People who are not being let into this country to watch a fucking soccer game because they are not white, or because they are from Iran, or because they are from Somalia. This government, and it's not subtle, it's not being hidden, it's not being, you know, sold to us in different terms or different language or anything like that. It is blatant, it is overt, it is out in front. And, you know, and I also mentioned in that last video the concept of, you know, white people being able to retreat into whiteness. And, you know, that is something that I kind of did yesterday. I mean, I read the news about the guilty verdict in the Carmelo Anthony case, and was horrified. And, you know, all morning today, as I've been making videos, I've just been sick to my stomach about that verdict specifically, and the other verdicts that we've seen this year, and what we've seen the Supreme Court do this year. And every single bit of what's going on in the news domestically, to me, just looks like just blatant, explicit racism against black people. I mean, Donald Trump and Stephen Miller went to strip black Americans of their citizenship. That is the driving force behind Donald Trump's executive order on birthright citizenship of the 14th Amendment. They want to strip every black American of their United States citizenship so that governments, state and local law enforcement, federal law enforcement, on down the list, no longer has to treat black people living in the United States as American citizens, stripping them of all of those rights. That's the point of Donald Trump's birthright citizenship. It doesn't have shit to do with immigrants. It's directed specifically at black people. I mean, Trump's former little Border Patrol Nazi, Greg Levino, he is thinking about running for president, and he put up a tweet yesterday or the day before that said his primary goal is deporting 106 million illegals in the United States of America. There are roughly 50 million people in the United States of Hispanic or Latino heritage. There are about 52 million people in the United States who are black. That's how you get to that number, 106 million. He wants to deport every single person in the United States of America who's not white, including over 50 million black Americans. And the only way to do that is to end birthright citizenship and strip every black American of their citizenship in the United States of America. You know, but I got that news about the Carmelo Anthony verdict yesterday, and I had plans. I was going to go see my favorite band in the world, and so I did that. And I had a great time. I put that information down, and I picked it up again this morning when it was convenient for me. And that's privilege to me, in my mind, and it's something I've been reflecting a lot about this morning, which is why I've been making the videos this morning that I've been making. you know, I still have a lot to learn about race in the United States. You know, but I guess I don't have to if I don't want to because I'm white. And I just think it's important for white people in this country to acknowledge that. So I'll talk more about this later.
So there you go. The end goal. All right. Got you looking over here. But they're actually trying to accomplish something else behind the scenes. All these distractions. We keep telling you, all right, this is how they roll. That's another thing, our people are too easily distracted. You got the NBA finals going on, you got hockey going on, you got baseball going on, getting ready for football season to start the next couple of months here. Got all these distractions, not to mention what's going on and all these shootings, and the news is not telling you what you should be hearing. That's just something to keep you fat, dumb, and stupid. Your local news. Alright, this is why we're out here. These people have bad intentions and always have. Alright, these people are our mortal enemy. Alright, the nation of Edom are our mortal, yes, all other nations are our enemy. But, damn it, I did it again. Hold on. But Edom is our mortal enemy. Whoops. Cambridge, a very serious and dangerous enemy, all right, threat, and that he is, all right. Let's see. Let's see. I gotta get the one in the Urban Dictionary. Let's see. An enemy who wants to kill you, point blank, straight to the point. All right. Remember Genesis 27th chapter. Let's get that real quick. All right. Let's see what else is here. Let's see. What? What does this have to... Okay. That was a waste. Alright, a lifelong enemy, where your enemy ship is so strong that over the years the two... No, that's not what I'm looking for. Mortal enemies. Alright. The hell? They've changed this. What does this have? Wow. Because the one I remember, that's how you know they go into this shit. Alright. because the one I remember from a while back, it gave the example of two brothers. But anyway, yeah, I think you get the picture. Let's get that Genesis real quick. This is what he swore to do. This is Genesis. Of course, I would recommend you read Genesis 25th chapter. But let's go straight to the point. All the way down to the end. Start at 38. All right, if you know the story. All right. They like to refer to this as Jacob stealing the blessing, which he didn't. In 25, you sold your birthright. And in 27 here, all right, clearly, if it was to be rectified, it would have been done. It would have been done, but that was not the case. And in verse 11 or 12 of this very chapter, it goes into this because his mother told Jacob what to do. And if there were any consequences, all right, let it fall on her. All right, so here it is, 38. And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father? Bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. All right, and Isaac, his father, answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth and of the dew of heaven from above. And by thy sword, clue, shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck. All right, and Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, The days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. All right. And a lot of idiots will say, well, no, this is just talking about Jacob and Esau, the two brothers. They just, he was beefing with, as in singular. No. When you go to Genesis 36 chapter, that answers that. All right. It says in verse 8 of that chapter, Esau is Edom. That's the nation. All right. Now, let's see, do I have anything else? Let's see. No, that's about it. But well, let me get Psalms. Hold on. All right, because we know that, all right, a prayer of David. David did not like the so-called white man, which is the nation of Edom. Actually, they're red. That very name, Edom, means red. So, I mean, it's pretty simple that they are a nation of clean lepers, and as a result, they have no melanin, so the blood shows forth through there, and it doesn't take much for it to do so. All right. Let's see. So here's King David in his prayer, and you have to know that, like I said, he and Joab, and oh my goodness, they just arise, O Most High, whose name is Yahweh, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So he is an instrument, the so-called white man, who are the nation of Edom. That's their biblical nationality. They are a tool. They are the weapon by which he used them to punish us. All right. They are the wicked. Malachi 1st chapter, first 4 verses. The point being in 4. All right. From men which are thy hand, O Most High Yahweh, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life. Do they not? What did it say in Genesis 27:38 through 41? And by thy sword shalt thou live. He is also a very deceitful person. All right. That's where you get into Sirach 10th chapter and 12th chapter. All right. So, from men which are thy hand, O Most High, from men of the world which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure, they are full of children and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. Unlike us, they've done everything in their power to keep us from establishing generational wealth. All right. So that's going to be it for this one. Yeah, so the end goal they're working on, it's not a coincidence that all these rulings as of late, the Supreme Court, and all this violence against us as of late, and with these verdicts and these trials as of late. So with that, once again, I hope whoever views this has been edified. That's what we do here at Great Millstone. All right. Filter everything through the scriptures. All right. And once again, especially in these times now, keep your eyes and ears open. All right. Be circumspect out here. So with that, until next video, hey, shalom.